Welcome back to the Capes and Tights podcast right here on capesandtights.com. I'm your host, Justin Soderberg. This episode is once again brought to you by our friends at Galactic Comics and Collectibles at galacticcomicsandcollectibles.com. On this episode, we welcome Utkarsh Ambudkar to the podcast to chat his comic he co-wrote with Hannah Rose May called The Guy in the Chair. Utkarsh is known for his acting, writing, rapping, singing, but he's also known for acting in roles such as Pitch Perfect, The Mindy Project, Ghosts, World's Best, which he also co-wrote. The Guy in the Chair is his miniseries debut at an independent comic book company. He had a story as well in Marvel Voices, but this is his debut in comics, writing an entire series. The book's amazing. The Guy in the Chair comes out October 8th from Dark Horse Comics. But before you listen to this episode, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads, all those places. You can also rate, review, subscribe over on Apple or wherever you find your podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube. And as always, you can visit capesandtights.com for so much more. But this is Utkarsh Ambudkar talking The Guy in the Chair right here on Capes and Tights. Enjoy, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. How are you today? How's it going for you?
Hello, everyone. I'm Utkarsh Ambudkar, and I'm doing great. I'm absolutely excited. I actually am extremely excited to be on this podcast. Is this just audio, or do you tape this thing too?
I do video to it. It's here's the deal. So most people listen to this. Like most people are listening to it in their car or at work or something like that. We do a video version of it just so people have an opportunity.
So if I were to use a fake microphone right now,
there you go. See,
you guys can't see. I've got to
see that. There you go.
I got to my mic too.
See,
the difference between I is I don't know how to plug mine in.
Yeah.
What's going on, Justin?
Listen, man. It's beautiful here in Maine. I live in Maine.
Cool.
It's like 77. Nice. It's great. It's a beautiful day. I got to see a building get torn down today. That was pretty cool.
All right.
Yeah, it's I've never seen that before. You go with the front loader with like the claw, like grabbing the building and tearing it down. It was pretty epic. I tell you that.
What kind of building? I mean, are you watching?
It was a crack house.
So you're just watching a bunch of poor crackheads see their home destroyed, and you're finding joy in that?
Well, okay, so I work for a brewery. My actual full-time job is working for a brewery, and I'm a creative director. And so there's this property that was next to our brewery that's been sitting there for like forever. And for 5 years, we tried to buy it. And finally, last week, we were able to buy it. And for 5 years, no one's lived in it. It's just been empty. It's been uninhabitable. And so finally, we were able to buy it, and they tore it down today. And so rats were running out of it. It was crazy. It was a sight to be seen. I'll tell you that much.
So you embellished the crack house aspect of it, or were there actual crying crackheads outside, and then
there used to be? How about that? So it used to be a rehabilitated crack house. How about that?
Are you going to give these crackheads jobs at the brewery? What are we doing here, Justin?
They're not there anymore. I don't know where they are. They left 5 years ago, so they're long gone, moved on to new and better things. Right? That's what I'm hoping for. Is that they're on better things. They're doing great. But yeah, it's
crackheads, we honor you. We honor you, crackheads. What's the name of your brewery?
Orono Brewing Company. We are in Maine, Orono, Maine, where the University of Maine is. So right here in Stephen King country, it's what people call it up here because that's where Stephen King's from. So, but yeah, he lives in Florida most of the time though. But we have some fun up here. It's we're out of the way a little bit, so we have a little bit of ruralness, but a little bit of cityness, a little bit of everything, and I'm loving it up here. But yeah, a little bit further away from where you are, I'm guessing. You're in a different time zone, so that's at least a different traveling time. But we're here to talk a bunch of stuff. But so you're an actor, you're a writer, you're a rapper, you're a bunch of things. Your names after your name there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
But and we got connected here because of comics. So what's your history in comics though? Like let's talk about do you have a love for comics? Have you always had a love for comics? Is this something that you're new into, which is fine too? But like what's your history of comics?
Obsession with comic books since I can remember. So I'm a lifer. Anybody who collects comic books, who I assume is most of the people listening to this, I have, I don't know, hundreds of shoe boxes full of them. I probably have every single issue of almost every comic that's been put out in the last 25 years. So I started off like most of you guys in your early 40s who are listening. I'm born in 1983. Jim Lee's X-Men, really, that number one cover
Mm.
really captured me. I'm a Larry Hama GI Joe guy. Um, then I'm Indian, born in the US, but I would go back to India every summer or every other summer, and they would get all of the 1970s Green Lanterns, Superman, all the DC books that became which I didn't know were seminal works. Also, you get the Archie comics, Richie Rich, that whole world, which was very funny. And then as I sort of became wore my Stussy shoes and all that,
Mm.
your Jco's, I Todd McFarlane hit and Spawn hit. And Spawn is the last comic that I read in my beginning phase before I hit puberty. And what happened was is I was in the mall and I had just bought Spawn number 3, or maybe it was Medieval Spawn, and some girls from high school came saw me, and I was a freshman in high school, and they were like, "Why do you have a comic book?" And I lied and I said I was buying it for my baby cousin. And I'm ashamed to say that I stopped reading comic books that day until my senior year of college in New York at NYU. A friend of mine named Akil had the Parallax Green Lantern run, and he brought that, and I fell in love. It was like a bicycle. I had never left.
Mm.
That summer, I left to do my very first movie in Baltimore called Rocket Science. It's on HBO Films. It's a very sweet movie. Anna Kendrick and I did that was our first movie together, and I kind of felt like I had all this per diem and I didn't have much to do in that movie. And so he gave me like $90 a day, which when I was 2021 is an exorbitant amount of money. And I would go to the Barnes and Nobles, and I just bought every graphic novel they had in the shop. And I that's where I like rediscovered Ultimate Spider-Man,
Mm.
the Ultimates storyline, Avengers Disassembled. Basically, like I caught up everything I had missed in the last 5 years, and I just fell in love with Civil War,
Mm.
House of M. Marvel was just crushing it, and then DC was doing some great stuff too. I mean, um, Identity Crisis,
Mm.
like just some really great storylines. And then, like most people, I kind of got hip to the fact that there was a new crisis every 6 months in Marvel and DC, some life-changing thing that stopped mattering to me.
Mm.
So I dove into Vertigo, and then I found all the stuff that you guys have already read: Why the Last Man, Preacher, Ex Machina, and the Exterminators, and then really started getting into the that sort of world of Vertigo, Image, horror books, and more character driven storylines.
Mm.
So I'm a every Wednesday comic book shop kind of guy. I know that's a bit of a long backstory for me, but
Oh,
I am fully into it. Like I didn't know if this was a video podcast or not, but like these are the books I just picked up last week. I'm on this Steve McNiven
yeah.
Daredevil Day in Hell. And then this looked really interesting to me. I was a fashion school serial killer.
Hmm.
I picked that up. And then this, I got a writer. I just love this title, Wolverine Revenge.
Yeah.
So I got these Wolverine books. And then I'm going to read these and got a little Silver Surfer stuff. But I've always wanted to do comic books. I had a chance to do Marvel Voices #1, Avengers. I wrote an 10-page Iron Man story for that. Shout outs to Marvel for giving me that opportunity. It was really short, not enough time, and Marvel has a lot of restrictions, and rightfully so. It's a
Yeah.
corporation. They have so much canon that you can't really change storylines. I really wanted to do a storyline where Tony Stark, as we all know, is an alcoholic in recovery, but what nobody knows is that the Juggernaut is his sponsor. And so they fight in the streets, and then they go in, and him and Kane Marco just talk about their deepest, darkest secrets. They're like, and then they just walk out onto the street, put their helmets on,
And
and
then
start
they fight again.
and they were like, well, Kane Marco technically is not in recovery and he's not Iron Man's sponsor. Iron Man already has a sponsor. And I was like, well, shit,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, let's do this.
I also wanted to
But
do a support group for like C-list heroes and what that would be like all the guys who, I mean, let me just see real quick. I have a stack of these Marvel Sapphire cards. I'm sure I can find a C-list hero. Bronze? Who the hell's Bronze?
exactly.
It's like Black Knight sitting
Yep.
with who else? Jack of Heart sitting with Forge, sitting
Yep.
with and just being like, yeah, nobody comes to the signings. Nobody ever asks, nobody recognizes me in the streets. I fought Apocalypse 7 times
Yeah.
and they still don't know what I do.
Stilt
I
man.
don't,
Oh, I'm super tall all the
yeah,
time, but no one even
nobody,
notices me.
nobody
They look
cares. They
right
don't even
underneath
look
me.
at me. Um, yeah, they just walk right by me. Um,
That's a funny. I honestly think that that's what would get most people because I have a very similar track record in my life about getting out of comics and going back into comics and Civil War and all that stuff. I'm not Indian and I don't go back to India, so that part of the story is not like me. But everything else
well, just
is
like they were behind, so that's where I
yes,
got
yes, yes.
very lucky
Yes.
to
You
have
got the
read
next section,
history.
yeah.
Yeah, I got
But
to
yeah,
catch up with some history.
but yeah, I mean it's so but the series having this big apocalyptic style thing all the time just drew me out of the Marvel for a while there and going in independent comics and I do like that story that part of that story is like getting that but I think that would get us all back if you told stories like you were just saying a support like that weird obscure kind of like off the wall kind of weird story would get me be like oh I want to read that book I want to read that book about a support group for C-list characters I want to do that I want to pick that up every Wednesday.
Marvel, Marvel, is funny because Marvel comics are so much like what before James Gunn did.
Mm,
Marvel comics were more like the DCEU. They're
mm,
so dark and they're so like, just get Jonathan Hickman to make up a language and just put a bunch of symbols on a page and you're like, what? Mutants are what? What is happening, bro? I'm riveted because Lionel Yu is an incredible artist and
yeah.
I will read anything. I won't even look at the words. At some point, I'm just like, this is gobbledygook. I'm just looking at the pictures, or like a Jerome Pena. Like I
Yeah.
will watch anything that man draws.
Yeah.
But these character-driven stories, Preacher, Why the Last Man, where you really get into the love that these people have, the conflict, the humanity. It really, I love it. And so that brings us to the guy in the chair,
Hmm.
Dark Horse Comics, and I'm just so excited. So I know everyone's like, this guy does not take a fucking breath,
It's
and
true.
I just I love comic books. I'm so excited about this book. Um, and I know I don't have much time with Justin because he's got to go kick some crackheads out of another house, so he can pour his beer,
We,
and put his peanut shells on the ground. I don't know
what was that? It was a Lauren Hill song. Pave a parking lot, put up whatever that line because it was like we were actually putting a parking lot where that house was. So it's like
Oh,
take a
that is
crackhead, track
definitely
us down.
a Joni Mitchell song,
Yes, yeah. Take
which
and then put
Counting
a
Crows famously covered.
yes. That's what it was, and it was they put up a parking lot. We were putting up a parking lot, but no, the guy in the chair. So you were writing this with Hannah Rose May, but who tell you right now, people, and this is a dream come true too. Talking here today because I'm a huge Ghosts fan too. So like
Oh,
the
cool.
fact that you two were on an episode together too, which was awesome. But yeah, so you two connected. How did you two connect to get this to like? How are you co-writing with this with Hannah?
So this is just magical universal intervention, which is we're at San Diego Comic Con. Hannah is there celebrating and pushing a book that ended up becoming one of the best-selling books of the year called Rogues Gallery.
Mhm.
For anyone who hasn't read it, it's about toxic fandom. It is an Image comic book. It is freaking page
Phenomenal. Mhm.
must read. It broke the bank, meaning like it really like broke records for a first time writer. Hannah's there. I'm doing our first year post COVID of Ghosts, all our ghost panels with the whole cast, and we're like they shuffle you to all these different auditoriums, And as I'm walking, I see this tall redhead walk by and we lock eyes. And I'm like, well, she looks interesting. And I'm like, well, don't stare too long. Don't be a freak creepo. And I turn around to talk to Roman Zaragoza, who plays Sisapis. And I turn back, and this tall redhead is literally 6 inches away from my face. And I was like, geez, I didn't know I was that magnetic. What the hell? And she goes, I'm coming on your show on Monday. I was like, excuse me? She was like, I'm coming to play the maid, Hetty's maid,
Mhm.
on the show on Monday. I'm going to be in Montreal on Monday. My name is Hannah. I'm here promoting my book. I was like, wait, what now? You have a comic book? She was like, yeah, this is my comic book. I was like, okay, you have to sign. I need a signed copy
Yeah.
right now. And I think she thought that I was just blowing smoke, that I was just trying to be polite.
Mhm.
And I was like, no, 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 you don't. In my mind, I was like, I have to prove to this person that I actually am about this life.
Yeah.
So fast forward a few days, we leave San Diego. We meet in Montreal, and I'm like, look, and I bring my stack of comics. I'm like, look, and they're not just superhero comics. I got everything. I got Ice Cream Man. I got Night's House on the Lake. I got real shit, dude. Like, I'm like, I'm snobbing. I'm like showing her my record collection,
Yes.
and and whether or not I wish Hannah was here, but she's really busy
Mhm.
finishing up a big IP that we're not allowed to talk about. And she's got another amazing book out right now called Exorcism at 1600 Pen, um, which is also just breaking records as a
Yeah.
horror book.
So great. Yeah.
Um, the truth is she's going to Ireland tomorrow, and she told me to carry this one solo, Justin. So that's the kind of partner that I have. Anyway, we're on set. We're obviously connecting over the fact that she is a comic book creator, which is a dream of mine, and I am on TV, which is a dream of hers.
Hers, yeah.
And I don't know whose idea it was first, and I must have been Hannah's. She's the brains of the operation. And she was like, I've been thinking about this, spinning something on its head about taking somebody who's not the star and making them the star. And then I was like, okay, well, we need a ton of explosions, and I would love to add a cultural element. And
Mhm.
can we make it romantic? And so that's how the idea of this spy-fi romantic action comedy called The Guy in the Chair was born, literally out of a chance glance across a room at San Diego Comic Con, which led to now a 2, 3 year long, incredibly fulfilling creative partnership. Um, and now we're finally here, man. We talked to Dark Horse. They gave us a chance. Love me some Dark Horse.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
They got a great logo.
Mm.
Um, and our book comes out in October. Issue one of The Guy in the Chair drops in October.
Yeah, October 8th. It's exciting because yeah, I love first of all, Rose Gallery is phenomenal. Exorcism at 1600 Pen was unbelievable. And so like you have some bangers coming from Hannah in the first place. And then, obviously like I said, I was a fan of Ghost and seeing that connection and seeing I mean my wife was like we started watching Ghost and I was like, "Wait, he's Mindy's sister brother on the Mindy Project." And I
Yeah,
was like, yeah, it's that too. There's a lot of
yeah.
things in here. So, but
And
having this all connection, I love this, and I love the crossover in like you're an actor, writer, that's your thing. You do that instead of you can't touch comics because you're an actor. No, you can do both. There's definitely and the passion behind it, and you can hear it from you. Like when you actually hear you
yeah,
say, it's not like it almost feels like you have to just like you were saying to Hannah, you have to justify that you're not just like, oh, I don't just read Iron Man every week or whatever comes out. I actually
right,
like the indie titles and the obscure titles and things like that. You
right, right,
almost have
right.
to. I feel like you might have to justify yourself that you're not just in it to make money. Because here, let's be honest with you guys, there's not a bunch of money in writing comic books.
No, no,
It's
no.
more fun than it is like you could spend the rest of your time on set and do a better job financially than it is to write a comic book, but you're passionate and you have a want to do this.
Yeah, and honestly, like, look, the business side of things, for just to be completely transparent, yeah, I mean, I'm in an IP driven
Hmm.
industry, and I'm in an IP driven industry with very little existing IP that represents my culture and my ethnicity and
Hmm.
my experience. You're not going to go like David Corn Sweat they're not going to replace him with freaking Cal Penn. You know what I mean? Whatever. Or me. I'm not going to get to play Nightcrawler. I won't get to play Iceman.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get to play Forge. These characters are already visually set in stone. And when they're changed, there's out, outcry, public
Yeah.
uproar from the stands, which to some degree I get because I'm a traditionalist also. I fall in love with these characters, but we can all agree that these characters all look one kind of way.
Hmm.
So from a quote unquote business standpoint, by creating an IP which I love, maybe provides myself or another actor an opportunity to embody this role
Hmm.
of our hero. His name is Ubby. He sits behind a computer all day. He is the technical wizard who helps his assassin Merlin complete her missions. He's madly in love with her, which is obvious in the first two panels of
Hmm.
our comic book. That's not a spoiler.
Nope.
She may or may not know that he exists. She certainly values him as a work partner. And the organization that they work for, the observatory, which sends them out on all their missions, peacekeeping missions, as they're told they
Hmm.
are, their organization, they are strictly forbidden from ever meeting each other or talking to each other in the real life, punishable by dot dot dot. Who
Hmm.
knows? I mean, you'll find out, but punishable by dot dot dot. And he's just sort of content to sit in this cubicle with no life other than the screens that he watches Merlin really be an adventurer in. Until one day, after a long day, Merlin, who he's never supposed to meet, she shows up at his door, and she's a total frickin' badass, by the way,
Hmm.
bloodied and bruised, and asking him for help. Um, and they sort of go on the run together, trying to figure out who's after her and why, and may or may not fall in love while they do it. And as somebody who's written for Disney and Fox and the Netflixes and all that stuff, and I'm known for my comedy, I hopefully will make you laugh out loud with the book as well. It has a Deadpool irreverence to it. I want to be winking at you, the reader,
Yeah.
at all times. I don't know if you've had a chance to read the first issue.
I read issue one. I have issue. They gave
Okay,
me issue
so
two as well,
so
but
you tell me
yeah.
then. You tell me. Guys, I'm going to shut the fuck up. You listen to Justin. Justin, you tell these people about the book, pros and cons.
Well, there's just the right amount of humor in it, and there's just the right amount of action, and there's just the right amount of love story in it. So, like, sometimes to me, if you hear, oh, it's got a love story in it, it might turn some people off who don't want that in their comic. But like to me, there's just that amount. And in like you said, the cultural aspect of it is there because obviously you have your main character who's not this white guy with a combed over hair and sitting behind a computer, but also it's still see myself in that person, if that makes any sense, because we've all been there. We've all been the person who's thinks we're closer to someone and are telling other people about this someone, but that person again may or may not know that I actually exist as a person beyond a certain point,
Yeah.
whether
I
it's a
mean, look,
voice or a picture or whatever. But yeah.
it speaks to an online existence that we all live in where we can be like best friends with people on a headset playing Call of Duty or Fortnite that we've never met. And also to the pandemic experience that a
Mhm.
lot of us now have grown used to where we're talking on screens. And it's just wild. I met somebody yesterday who I know and hugged, and we never met in person. And this is someone that I've logged
Yeah.
hours on Zoom with. And we'd never met before, and neither of us even realized we hadn't met before in real life. So it sort of speaks to that mentality as well. But now tell them what you hated about it.
Honestly, nothing. And that's I hate to say that because it's true. Because it is. I mean, I haven't put a review out there, and I will put a review out there at some point on the actual on our website. But like as we get closer to the comic release, but it would be a top rated comic because again, it has that little bit of everything. It's a little bit different, especially after just read, for example, if you connect the Hannah Rose May part of this, if I just reading Exorcism at 1600 pen is a lot darker and horror aspect of it. It gives you something different to read and that this is when those things that I don't know how many times I would have just immediately jumped and grabbed this book, but because of the connection of the writers and things like that that I like about it, that's when I grabbed it. The name of it's also awesome because it just reminds me of, like, also again more recently the Spider-Man. Can I be your guy in the chair?
Yes,
And
yes.
in that aspect of it, so it's great. And then just again the comedy and the him explaining, and again I don't want to spoil too much, but like him explaining to other people about this person, and then like, well, where's your friend? So he must talk about this person all the time to other
Yes.
people, but no one's ever met this person,
Yeah.
and they don't know that he hasn't met this person. So that part of it is it was awesome because you don't get that in the type of movies that are based around a guy in a chair on a mission. You know,
Right.
your born supremacy, your war, espionage type films are all about the action and the mystery and the thriller of it all, not as much about the love story. And if it is, it's about the damsel in distress getting saved by someone
Right.
in some sort of military operation and
No,
then
that
falling in
is
love
very much
afterwards.
the
Yes,
opposite.
yes.
So,
And
and
so
here's a
it's different. You're shaking things up. You're making something a little different here.
I hope so. And here's a real question for you, because for those guys listening, and I'm sure you have lots of listeners who are like me, I'll be honest with you, I don't give a shit about the writing in most books. The first thing I do is open up to the second or third page and look at the art
Yeah.
and I want to see how the colors feel. I'm very visceral with my comic book experience. I'm not a digital guy. That's why I love the McNivens, the
Mhm.
Opeñas, the Finch, the Lionel Yu, the pencil work. I love the Dylans. I love anybody creating strange and weird feelings within my body with what they're drawing. What do you think of the artwork? Be honest.
Guillermo's great. It's this it has the comic book feel to it with an
Yes.
action comic, and so it's like it has that edge, that explosiveness you need in a comic book that has action in it, but it has a cartooniness that it's in it. And I don't think I can go back and look. I don't know if I've ever actually visualized this artist before. I don't know
Me
much
neither.
about the artist,
Neither.
Guillermo Sana. I might
Yeah,
have
Guillermo
butchered this.
Sana,
Yeah,
he's somewhere in South America. We I think he's in Brazil. Everything is Google Translate back
yeah,
and forth.
yeah.
Somebody Dark Horse put us in touch with, and Hannah gets really frustrated with me because my aesthetic is like I love the 1600 pen,
Yeah.
like more lines, more shadows. I kept saying like I want movement. I need the pictures to move. And Hannah's like, "What the fuck are you
What are you
talking
talking
about, bro?"
about?
I'm like, and I'm like Lionel, you scratch, 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 scratch.
Yeah,
And she's
yes.
like, "What are you talking about?" So it took us a while, it took her a while, I think, to figure out visually what it was that I was obsessing over.
Mhm.
And we had a lot of opportunities to work with some great people, and Guillermo just found the right amount of pop and sort of unique pen work where you
Yes.
where you feel like the action pieces are really quote unquote actioning. Like I want a car chase to look like a fucking car, to feel like a car chase. I don't know how else to explain it.
Mhm.
Like you see Nemesis and read that, or Super Crooks, and you see what like Lionel Yu and what McNiven did with that. You can feel the movement, and that's what I was
No, yeah,
aspiring to.
and I think there's one of the there's a I love this style of artwork. Like Vanessa Del Rey, her artwork for 1600 Pen is perfect for that comic.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so it fits that
3D.
comic and that story. And so the same thing goes with this. I feel like maybe if you would have asked me if Vanessa did this book, I might have been
Oh,
like,
I know. I'm
artwork's
not.
excellent, but it doesn't fit correctly. And I think there's something about Guillermo's artwork in this that fits the story itself. But like if you and Hannah do another comic book together and you're like, oh, everybody loved Guillermo, but it just the story is different, then it might be a different
Yeah.
artist is necessary. And I think that's what's
And
cool about
and
this
we
book.
are.
Yeah.
We are working. News is coming for a next book with a company we all know and love. And Hannah and I are about to dive into our next adventure together, and we're really excited about that. I mean, the amount of news I cannot tell you about is
It's regular. It's a normal thing on this. I understand that. What I don't
okay.
like is when someone comes up and goes, I go, what are you working on? Is there anything you can't talk about? And they're like, no, not really. I'm like, well, then you have a long time without doing any work. Because if you don't have something in the hopper, whether it be acting, directing, writing,
Yeah,
producing, whatever, or comics or whatever, then you probably have a long time before something actually is going to be made because you got
I
to have
know.
those things you can't talk about. It's part of
Yeah,
part of the industry in general. But yeah, I think this comic will speak to a lot of people. There's the action, there's the love, there's the comedy, and I think that's what we need right now. I think something that's, it sounds really bad, but it's not something you have to think hard about either. I wasn't sitting there like having to like investigate words or demons that I didn't know about or whatever it may be. This is pretty straightforward. Missions need to be accomplished. There's a love story that you can relate to. I 100%. I'm not the guy in the chair. I mean, as much as I want to be right here, and I'm not talking to people who are on these mega missions. But again, I've been there. I've talked to people. I've had friends that are physical. You mentioned the internet part of it, but I've had physical people close to me. We're come to find out like years later, I'm like, wow, I was way more of a friend to them than they ever were to me,
Yeah,
and not like in a jealous way, but in a way that I thought the relationship was two sided, and it really was only one sided. And so we've always been there, and I think that's the relatable part of it, and it makes you want to read more and learn more and discover more about it. And the first issue has a great cliffhanger in a sense
I
that you're
think
like, I
so.
want to read the next issue, but enough of the story's told. That's another thing about, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't go into the second issue yet. I will. I was lucky enough to get it, but it was one of those things that I wanted to go into this with like. I want to be where everybody else is on October 8th talking to you. I want to know. I don't want to do too much of a forward read
Yeah,
because I don't want to have too much in my head to want to talk about and have people like get spoiled. So yeah, it's exciting to have that thing there. But I mean, guessing you had Marvel Voices, so you've had this experience, writing something for comics. But October 8th, when you go into your local comic book shop to buy this comic, what's that experience going to be like for you?
first of all, my local, I'm going into every
Yeah, I
fucking
know,
comic
but
book shop I can find.
if I,
I really want to secret sign books.
yeah. Do you
I
want to
hear that.
stand there next to it though and be like, yeah, that's my comic?
No, that's not actually, you know what? Would be because I'm so excited.
Yeah,
Like when it's movies and TV, this is going to be sound douchey, but like I've had the experience now for many years
yeah.
of sort of that. So if I'm on a plane and I mean, just 2 days ago, somebody was watching this a Disney Plus movie that I wrote and co-produced called World's Best. An elder couple was both watching the movie right in front of
I
me,
mean,
and Danielle Pinnock, who plays Alberta on Ghosts, was sitting next to me on the plane, like, "Yo, fam, I got to tell these people
yes,
right
yeah,
now." And in a situation like that, I'm like, no, 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 let them have their own
yeah.
experience. Like, don't ruin it, please. Let them watch. I want to see if they turn it off. Like, I want to see how much they get through. God bless them. They both watched the whole movie with their eyes open, and headphones on. So, but I'm used to it, so I don't intervene or interject. But honestly, I'll probably tell everyone.
Everybody.
Like
Hey,
I will
that's me.
probably, it feels really, really good
Yeah.
to go in and see something where you're like, I never, when I was getting like Bishop's first appearance
Hmm.
and the whole Carnage saga and Maximum Carnage for Spider-Man and buying variant covers and you know, I've never not been in a comic book shop since I
Mm.
was like 5 or 6 years old. And so it's a very, very, very cool thing. And to do it with Hannah, who I consider to be one of the best, if not the brightest voices in comics right now, and the way she advocates for me as a partner, the way she stands up for me, the way she uses her powerful Irish white woman energy, white hot woman energy to
Yeah,
like
exactly.
protect her guy in the chair is really appreciated. Um, and yeah, so I'm really proud of her for I'm really grateful
Yeah.
to her for choosing me, and I'm really proud for us that we get to do this together because I know how hard she works. I see how in demand she
Mhm.
is, how how well she sets herself up for success. It's really cool.
It's nice to also have. I mean, I know the partnership and bouncing ideas off of ID people and so that it's helpful. But you guys are also both busy people, and so like you have both crazy worlds to go around, flights, taking flights, and on set and offset and writing
Yeah.
comics and all that stuff. So to have the partnership of it, it probably makes it a little bit easier too. And then someone is as talented as Hannah, so like it's not just like
Well, look,
have a partnership,
yeah,
but yeah,
partnerships are very difficult to make work.
yeah.
It's there's egos, there's time, there's finances, there's a lot of stuff that can get in the way. And creatively, obviously, like you can have very, very, very different opinions.
Hmm.
Now, I've had two or three creative partnerships in my life that have gone seamlessly. Hannah and I work together as if we're one mind. I don't know what's happened. There's always a yes, there's always I see where you're coming from. The disagreements are always constructive. She is a straight shooter, as am I. We don't have subtext in our conversations. It's very, very clear. I'll be like, I want more bullets. She'll go, no. Like, why can't we crash a helicopter? Because it's a love story, you
Yep.
idiot.
Yep.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I think they should smooch here then. And she's like, you're right, they should. And that's it. And that's how a rewrite gets done.
Hmm.
It's just that simple. Um, so I'm really grateful because yeah, the truth is I work on Ghosts. Season five's coming out a week after this book
This movie.
drops,
Yep.
October 16th. Season five, I'm shooting right now in Montreal. We're 18-hour days, 5 days a week for 7 months. In between that, I'm in post-production on two movies. I'm constantly working on new music and I'm writing two other movies. So, and Hannah has more books than she's Queen NDA right now. So there's nothing I can tell you that she's doing. That's
Yeah.
how dope what she's doing is. I wish I could tell you, but I'm really glad I texted her last night to ask if I could. I got several paragraphs in response with a lot of capital letters. So just letting you guys know, it has been relayed to me that I have to shut the fuck up. Um,
Which I understand. I mean,
hey, I got a tendency to spill the beans, Justin. My bean holder's got a hole in the bottom.
holding the bottom of it. Yeah, I guess it's fun, but I also, like I said, I love this crossover between people who are on screen and want comics because comics are a passion of mine and a passion of other people and people in things. Some of the best comics I've read in recent years are by Patton Oswalt and Jordan Bloom with Minor
Yes,
Threats. And there are too many people out there who are like, "Oh, Patton's an actor, he's a comedian." Da, da, da. The guy is obsessed with comics, so like, there's no reason why.
I see Patton every time I go
Yeah,
to freaking Revenge of.
yeah.
He's always there in LA. He's at all these things. We were meant to do a panel together at Comic-Con, but I think he was working. And I think Jordan might have moderated that panel. Anyway, point is, all I ask from the listeners, it's called The Guy in the Chair.
Yes.
It's a Dark Horse comic. Just do me a favor and pick up issue number one. It is independently made. I know
Yes.
it's Dark Horse, but I'm telling you straight up right now, I did not take a penny to write this comic book. Every cent went into the book. I was not paid. I did not expect to be paid. I wrote this book essentially for free, so that every dollar would go into the product. And as such, I hope you give it a chance and know that whatever $10 I would have gotten went to that ink, baby.
You made the ink, yeah, exactly. No, it's phenomenal. It's beautifully well. The logo is great. The first issue I've been lucky enough to read. I'll probably end up diving into the second issue tonight, and getting that chance to get ahead of it's great. The downside of this, I can't talk to anybody about it for freaking 2 months. It's like it's a whole thing. However, it's like I said, it's a
Bro, I'm
fun.
happy. If yo, I'll tell you right now, leak it, man. No, no, don't
No,
leak
because I
it.
have a relationship with Dark Horse too that I gotta keep going to.
Hey, hey,
I can't.
listen.
I heard you spill the beans. You can't do
It's
that.
not like this is recorded, bruh. Between you and me and nobody else.
It's phenomenal. How about that?
They'll
That's all I'll
never
say. They'll
know.
know. They'll never do. Who? How are they gonna know? How are they gonna find out? But yeah,
Ugh.
it's excellent. So it's worth giving it a shot. The first thing, but we're at a position too where you can go and just tell your comic book story. You want it. If they don't get it, they'll get it. Whatever it may be. But it does do wonders to get this first issue because that tells Dark Horse too, hey, we want to do another comic with you two in the future and so on and so forth. So that's
Yeah.
helpful. But it's also a great story. So that's worth it too. But I
Run
also
it.
could see you and Hannah acting as the main roles.
I mean, that would be that Hannah was very, very adamant that she would not do that. Um, and I was
Less
obviously the
adamant.
total opposite. I was like, yeah, man, make this dude look like me. Please
Well,
let me
I thought the
know.
same thing. The writer by the Berkowitz brothers and Josh Gad. I was like, wait a second, that guy looks a lot like Josh Gad. Is there a reason why that's like yeah, well, got a
No,
subliminal
no.
messaging here, man. If someone looks at the comic and do a casting, you gotta make it look like him. But yeah, yes, you have October 8th is when the guy in the
Yeah,
chair hits shelves. Then it's a monthly series coming out. Four issues. Yes, four
yes, cool.
issues. And then obviously there'll be a trade coming out after that too. So if you happen to be a trade waiter, I understand we're not going to go into that right now, but there'll be a trade out in the future. So check that out. Ghosts season 5, October 18th on CBS. Super excited. Some crazy stuff's going to happen, I'm guessing, this season. When are you going to go to a comic book shop on the show? That's what I want to know.
Oh
See?
man, I've been begging them. I go to a comic book shop in Montreal where we shoot all the time. Shout out to
See?
Captain Quebec. Um, I think it actually might be October 16th. Let
Is
me
it
see.
16th? It's
Yes,
16th. You're right. Thank you very much. I have the 8 in my mind for the day the comic comes out. October
yes.
16th on
And the
CBS is
book
where it
comes out
comes out.
October
Yes.
8th. And yes, if you can just go to your local shop, look, it's a Dark Horse book. I assume they'll have it, but
Mhm.
if so, we all know that the LCS sometimes you has to pick and choose what they get. But yeah, just ask for the guy in the chair. When does this air, Justin?
That's up in the air.
Okay, cool, 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 cool. Well, it'll hopefully be on your shelf right now. Who knows?
This will
Look,
air before the issue hits the shelf. So the
okay,
latest this will air will be October 1st. So that would
copy
be
that.
a week prior. So you have the ability to go in there and tell them to hold a copy, put it in your pull box, do all that
Okay.
stuff. Make sure you get it. Buy any covers there are. Buy multiple
And
copies.
I really want, have you talked to Hannah yet? Hannah Rose
I,
May?
I have not talked to
Oh
I've
man.
missed Hannah twice because I was supposed to talk to Hannah about 1600 pen as well as on here. So
I'm
one of
gonna
these days we'll
I'm gonna
get her on it.
really push for her to hop on because you guys should hear it from the genius's mouth. She's the queen, the brains of the operation. She's the queen and the king. I'm the court
That's
jester.
awesome. It's your
And
court
that would be
jester.
great.
You're the guy in the chair. I don't know what you're talking about. You're the one.
Yes, I'm the
You're the
guy
one.
in the chair, dude.
You're the one
Or
helping
comically
control things
sound.
and from a distance. The difference is Hannah knows who you are. And Hannah's met
Look,
you, and Hannah that's the difference. And hopefully she's not showing up on your front steps tonight to go on some sort of weird mission to figure things out. Hopefully that's not happening.
I mean,
But
that's
other
every
than
night.
that,
Um, so, and please pick up 1600 Pen, Exorcism at 1600 Pen, and Rogues Gallery,
Mhm.
Harley Quinn, any books with Hannah Rose's May on it, Hannah Rose May's name on it,
Yes.
are more than worth picking up. Get ahead of the curve because before long she's going to be the most sought after writer, I think, in the industry if she wants to be. Um, she's
I mean,
blowing up.
well, don't let her that big, because then maybe she'll start dropping you off a little bit, and then you don't want that.
I'm
Or
I'm
maybe you'll be
fully
on your own at that point. Maybe you'll do your own book.
It's already happening. It's like she's already like, bro,
Who's this guy?
you want to branch out. I'm busy, but I love it. That's
That's
success.
awesome.
It
Yeah.
feels good to watch my friends shine.
Absolutely. And I completely appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to chat here on the podcast
No
because
worries.
I know how busy you are, but like talking comics is fun, especially with people, again, people you look up to. Ghost is like literally one of my favorite shows. My wife and I watch
Thank
it
you.
every week it's on. And so I'm excited for more, and I'm excited for more comics from you and all that stuff. So it's a pleasure to talk to you, but thank you for taking time out to chat with me too. I appreciate that.
Thanks so much, guys, and anybody who didn't get the Cold Slither SDCC Hasbro GI Joe exclusive, I accidentally got 4 of them. So if anybody needs one, holler at your boy. I'll give you a good price.
That's perfect. Thanks, buddy.
All right, see ya.